Oh yes? Oh yes? Redstone Lapis Lazuli, good morning! Oh yeah. Sorry for the lateness. Here, PoGokeRo, Redstone Lapis Lazuli, new season, season 4. Check that out. So let me see. Alright, hold on. Are we not getting sound out, or what's going on? What's going on, guys? Talk to me, Google. What's happening? Alright, you're telling me that there's no sound, but I think there is sound, because my thing says there's sound. So hey, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, hey, happy Easter, right? Happy Easter. You know what? I'm gonna, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go. Alright. So, happy Easter. What have I done? I have been working. I've been working. I got this here gold farm. This gold farm was created by Navy Nexus. Well, designed. It was designed by Navy Nexus, and I built it in my world because it works really good. The other thing that I added was also Navy Nexus added this storage system, which is pretty cool. He has a shulker system, but I didn't want to use the shulker system because I don't have shulker boxes yet. But yeah, the way this works now is you go into the chamber, you slaughter all of the evil pigmen, and their ill-gotten gains are deposited into the system, whereby the system. So we close the trap. We got our pigmen in there. We look up here. We turn on the portal lighting system, and then observe as the portals flicker on and off, calling forth the evil zombie pigmen. They're evil and they're zombies, and so we hate them because they kill us, right? They're always killing people, so we got to get rid of these zombie pigmen. So what we do is we start, like, we turn on these trident killers, and it's like a blender. And it just blends them into little pieces. And then so we can see the results from over here. Let's go over it right there. So yeah. So we see here the zombie pigmen are all coming down, right? They're all getting warped in through the flashing gates. They go into there, where they get blended by trident killers, 4 of them. They drop their things, which gets put out over here. As soon as it does it, you'll see a bunch of stuff flying out. Well, you're supposed to see it. And the fact that you don't see it kind of bothers me. What's going on, buddy? You're empty. You're not. Alright, well here, we'll look over here. You see, it just gets shot out. Fired away. And then it gets put into the stream. Now the stream goes in a circle. It just goes in a circle, around and around and around. But when it hits this part, there's a bunch of hoppers right there. And these hoppers are an item sorter, and it will filter out the good from the bad. It gets the gold and takes it apart from the rotten flesh. So this is happening all over. You see, it's just getting dropped into the waste stream here. And then the stream is sorted by the sorters. So that's great, right? That's great. Oh, this bothers me. This isn't going. What's the dealio, yo? Why aren't you outputting? Why is there a zombie guy in here? Fuck you, zombie guy. You shouldn't have been in here. How'd you get in here? Alright, well, these zombies are getting murdered. Alright, well, I don't know why this isn't... It isn't... I gotta check it out. Why isn't there any loot coming out this one? Okay, well, I'll have to check that out. Let me go turn this off for a quick second. Flick that switch. That stops the portals from flashing. How did a zombie baby get in here? Alright, and then as soon as these guys clear out, I'll take a look. Alright, clearing out, clearing out, clearing out. Okay, turn off these things here. Silky touch. Yeah, there it is. Oh, look at the hopper minecart's gone. Where's the hopper minecart, dude? Yeah, okay, that's why it's not working out. Alright, so there was supposed to be a hopper minecart here, but it's not there anymore. So that's alright, I'll work on that later. On my own time. Right now I wanna like just hang out, show you more stuff, and talk to you guys. Alright. So let me put back this glass. I will come fix this. Okay, so there's that side. Then on this side, I have made another item sorter, but this is for the mines. So you can see the string moving along there. I hooked up the iron farm to this with a pipe that brings the items. Here, we can see you drop something out there. Come on, hook me up. Well, essentially, it'll get the things that drop down from there get put into this water stream, which then bring it along this path. Now, this stream here comes from the mines, and it joins the mine stream and just goes across, you see? And then it too joins the circuit joins a circuit of item sorters, and it finds the item sorter and then goes in. I did this because hoppers are expensive, and I can't combine the two item sorters, because this one works because all of the items are lined. Once they hit the stream, they hit this box, and because of the box, it doesn't let them have momentum, so they push all the way through to the end, and then they go along this line of hoppers. And if they can fall in the hopper, they do. And if they can't fall in the hopper, they don't, and they keep going. But it needs to be aligned. If it doesn't get aligned, then they're out here, the items are out here, and they're not close to the hoppers, and they don't get sucked in. On this side, they don't get aligned. Instead, they just go right over the hoppers. So I couldn't combine the two. But that's alright, this works fine. So I spent a lot of time building this thing. This is huge. And yeah, I'm getting my string, I'm getting my iron. It's happening. Now, okay, the next part is, well, where are the mines at? So go down this little thing here, down to the mines. So here are the mines I've been working on. I have a chunk. This is exactly one chunk, 16 by 16, and then that line's the other chunk too, up and down. I've been chopping out chunks and then feeding it into this machine, which then pops it up there. So here, let me show you what this does. So I'm gonna go like la la la. Yeah, this is what I do, right? If I can't leave the house, I can't go anywhere, I can't go visit anyone, I can't go talk to anyone. Like, I can't go to work because now they're having me work from home. So I don't have any office mates. I don't have any like friends to go visit. I don't have any friends to talk to really. I don't have any friends to play Minecraft with me. I don't have anything going on. So all I do is play Minecraft. And yeah, I build outrageous things during this time because I can. So yeah, like this is what I do, right? I'm like la la la, hi, there we go. And then it's like these bricks, it's not like I'm just grabbing them to grab them. They all get used. If I don't save them, then I'll be brick poor. Like, this game is a balance. You gotta balance your resource gathering with your creative with your creative sparkle. So I'm gonna grab, oh, I can't grab these things, right? My inventory is full. So I'm gonna start chucking stuff in there. Dude, I'm full of shit is what I'm full of. Like, none of this stuff is gonna get through. They're all the wrong stuff. But I'm gonna go dump stuff here. I need the sticks. I need this stuff. Ian, what are you doing? Here, dirt. I can take dirt. And deodorite. Alright. So how this works is I'm going to collect all this stuff. I dump it in here. It gets shut up, this elevator. Where it rides the water elevator up. It rides it up. It goes up to the water pipe, where the items get sent and they get processed. This saves me a ton of time having to sort through a bunch of crap. I can spend all my time mining and less time sorting through things. Of course, I got all this trash that's coming down too, but I'll worry about that later. So yeah, there's that thing. So I spent a lot of time building that. Building this whole system. Man, this is crazy. This is a crazy system. I can make a base out of this now. I mean, that's what I plan on doing, right? I mean, I got all my stuff down here. I've got my materials together. I'm gonna start getting a mine to get going. I'm gonna make an industrial smelter here to be smelting blocks. And yeah, then we'll go from there. All right, so there's that on that world, right? And now let's check this other farm. I love horses. I love riding horses. These horses are great for Minecraft because look how much faster it is running on a horse than it is walking. Horses make a huge difference. I'm telling you, horses changed everything. All right, I'm gonna take you over here. Oh, look at that lighthouse. Yes, I did it. I built the lighthouse. It took me forever, but I got it. And watch, I'll make it spin too. Hold on. Maybe I won't make it spin. I need to get flint. But yeah, I spend entirely too much time at home. And because of that, I build lots of stuff in Minecraft. That's fun. I like to build stuff. I like creating things. I like to share them more, but you know, that's the hard part. Okay, here we got the lighthouse. Here's the inside. It's pretty empty, right? I haven't really done anything inside yet. And I learned how to do this by just watching a YouTube video. That's all I did, is I watched a YouTube video. Lighthouses are pretty easy to make. They just require a lot of materials. All right, now here's the light part of it. It looks a little bit different. Not quite how it's supposed to be working here. Let's see. Stick that there. Mark that. And there we go. All right. So here's my lighthouse now. Man, look at my base. So when me and Zombie Annihilator first got here, we didn't have any of these trees here. I planted all of those trees. And yeah, this little island here that I built this lighthouse on didn't exist. I mean, it was there, but it didn't look like anything. Lights up there. Here, I'm gonna jump off. Oh, he's flying. Ah, that's funny. So there's my lighthouse. So the next time I go looking for sand, I can find my way home. Okay, now let's go look in the nether. I've been doing, all I do is sit at home and play Minecraft. Okay, there's a big ugly gray box. Why would I want to show this off? Because I go out here into the nether. Now we're in the nether. This is the old nether wastes. When they bring out an update, they're gonna update it with new stuff. But for right now, this is all old stuff. So I don't really want to go anywhere, because if I go someplace, I have to generate new chunks. And if you generate new chunks, they're all gonna be old chunks. I want to wait for the update and then go explore the nether so I can generate new chunks and have new content. So in the meantime, what I did is I'm preparing. Right? A lot of Minecraft is building up the groundwork. There's a lot of stuff I want to do, but I can't do it because I need the basic groundwork for it, the basic stuff. Like I couldn't have even gotten this far without the iron farm, because the iron farm you need all the I needed the iron farm for all the hoppers and the rails. And then I couldn't have done this without the gold farm, because I need the gold farm to repair my tools to get the materials to build all this great stuff, because tools break down fast. Alright, so I built this platform up to the roof of the nether. So eventually, when I gather enough materials and have enough strength, I will build I'll build a train station up here and make this our nether hub. That way we can travel anywhere in the nether we wish safely, right? Because up here in the ceiling, the only thing you have to worry about are pockets of lava. And lava pockets are easy. Just don't go in them. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff to do in a week. There's the nether out there. It's a lot of stuff to do in a week. It's a lot, let me tell you. So if I spent a little bit of time showing it off, I threw a bunch of crap off. Okay. There's my wheat farm. It's ugly. That's the problem with the wheat farm. It's ugly. I don't like it way up there. It's ugly. I might have to remake this one on the ground. Okay, horses. Yeah, dude, horses make all the difference. It makes it so that... Here's Zombie Annihilator's thing. He hasn't been back. He built his thing and then he left. So yeah, and I had to build this trail because remember, this is all a big forest. All the way through is a big forest. I had to cut a path through the forest, even out the ground, cut this hill in half, and then level out everything, and then build a path. And then yeah, and then this thing ended up being too big, so I had to cut into the ground. Oh yeah, and I had all these poppies, right? So I planted the poppies, and now it's a field of poppies. So yeah, it's groundwork. It's everything is built on everything else. Everything is built on everything else. Man, what a complex. What a huge base. It's not pretty like Zombie Annihilator's base. His base is awesome. It looks pretty. It looks great. But this is brutalist ugly. It's just ugly. But man, it's really effective. It's really efficient. It does what it needs to do, and there are hardly any wasted blocks. I mean, I wasted this stuff out here, mainly because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought I was going to build this item sorter on the roof, on the ceiling up here. But then I was like, man, I have to make a new elevator. I have to do it. Then all this stuff is still down there. Like, I don't know how, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just repurposed this elevator here, and there was an elevator here that I changed into the mining elevator. I still have my manual path downward if I want to walk down there. I don't have to use the elevators. My original mine, the original mine is still here. And in this original mine, it cuts through a mining shaft, an abandoned mining shaft, which I've checked out a little bit. It's fun. Yeah, that's scary. Look at that gravel ceiling. Ooh, it's a spider spawner over there. Die, spiders, die! Yep, right there, dungeon. Hey, check it out. Found a dungeon. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, here. Spiders everywhere. There's more over there. This is a hallway of spiders, man. Good thing I didn't come from this direction. Look at this. Any spiders? Come on. Look at this, look at this! So many spiders, my god! Everywhere in here! Alright, there, I cleared it out. What's in this chest? Ah, horse armor, saddle, yeah, we don't really need any of this stuff. Take the iron though. If you see iron, take iron. Because you're never coming back for it. Gold. I don't need gold anymore, huh? Okay. I'm probably gonna get lost in this place. Yep. Iron! This is a good mine for iron. I should be going in here more often. There's like a ton of iron in here. Yeah, this is a great iron mine. Hey, Mr. Creeper. From the darkness. Oh, there's my, okay, there's my... nameplates. So what's been going on in the world? Well, okay, you'll notice that I was late today. I was really late. And let me tell you why. Because I suffer from asthma, and I've suffered from asthma my whole life. What that basically means is that my lungs fill up with shit, with that stuff, and it makes it so it can't make air go through my lungs anymore. So it takes more and more work to push air through my lungs than it would for regular people. So for you could breathe and like not even notice it, like not even aware that you're breathing, not even aware of it. You're just doing it automatically. But when you have asthma and you have an asthma attack, what happens is breathing becomes manual. You can't. It's no automatic anymore. You have to tell yourself, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. It sounds like that old blonde joke, right? You all heard the old blonde joke to make fun of blonde people? Like the joke, how's the joke go? Like, a blonde goes to the hairdresser and says, okay, you can cut my hair, but whatever you do, don't take off my headphones. So the hairdresser's trying to cut around the headphones and having a hard time. So eventually the hairdresser just takes off the headphones just to cut this one part and then puts the headphones back on. Well, when the haircut is over, the hairdresser says, okay, I'm done, but the blonde person is dead. They're like, oh my god, you're dead, what happened? And then the hairdresser puts on the headphones to listen, and the headphones say, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. It's the joke, ha 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 ha. The joke is, blonde people are so stupid they need a machine to tell them to breathe in and out. Okay, that's like a ha-ha funny joke. But for some people, it's not a joke. Not that they're so stupid they need a machine to tell them to breathe, but rather, breathing becomes a manual. It becomes work. It's not just like la 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 breathe. It's like, okay, I have to work. I have to consciously tell myself to keep breathing because it becomes harder and harder. And what that does is that if you in the daytime, what that does is makes it so I can't rest, right? There's no rest. You cannot rest when you're manually breathing. Number one. And number two, if I'm asleep when that happens, I can't tell myself, oh, go take care of this, because I'm asleep. So what happens is I'm asleep. My body is not getting as much oxygen as it needs. Like while I'm sleeping, it's not getting enough oxygen. So like my sleep is pretty crappy. It's pretty unrestful, not restful at all. My sleep becomes crappy, and I wake up with a massive headache because I didn't get any sleep. Dude. So yeah, I didn't get any sleep. So yeah, I wake up with a headache, and that's what happened this morning. I woke up, I had a massive headache because I couldn't breathe. And I didn't even realize I was having an asthma attack until I was laying in bed because I was too tired. I was exhausted. I couldn't sleep anymore, but I was exhausted. And I was lying in bed trying to sleep, not being able to. And I remember hearing like this high-pitched, like squeaky toy, like right next to my head. It's like, cling, cling. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what? And then I realized that came out of my chest. That's me wheezing because the air is like struggling to get through my lungs. It took me that long to realize, oh, I'm having an asthma attack, and that's why I'm so tired. That's why I have a headache. That's why I can't breathe. It's because I can't breathe. Use your asthma spray. Save yourself. And so yeah, I got up and I puffed my asthma spray, and that saved my life. I'm like, oh wow, I remember what it's like to breathe again. Oh, so much nicer. I'm like, such a difference. and yeah, but my headache, headaches are no joke for me. So I get a headache, and like it's like incredible pain. So I ended up puking like a few times because the pain was so bad. Man, headaches, I hate headaches. How do we even get in here? How did I even get over here? Where am I? Oh, okay. So yeah, this is a big fat mine shaft over here. This is kind of cool. Got some neat stuff in it. Ugh. Gotta go for that iron. Alright, and here's ground floor. See, I got diamonds. I'm not even getting the diamond because I don't need them. I don't need the diamonds right now. What I need is iron. Like right there. Okay, yeah. Drop my stuff in there. I have to get something for this iron. I have to make an auto smelter. So yeah, that's why I was all late this morning, because I had an asthma attack. I had to sleep. If I didn't sleep, well, I had a massive headache and like puking and stuff. So I went to bed and I slept until like 10, and then I got up again, and then I felt better. But good enough to do this. Start drinking coffee, that helps. Alright, let me turn on the sound, huh? So a little bit of sound. Yeah, and then, okay, so I have all this rotten flesh, right? All these zombies doing their thing, produce a lot of rotten flesh. What do I do with all this rotten flesh? Well, over here, at my Temple of Iron, I have all these priests, and their only job is to turn rotten flesh into green emeralds. So I basically get rich trading away rotten flesh with the priests. So yeah, me and priests, we're friends. All right, what a great system, man. This is a lot of work. This took me a long time. It's all in survival. If I did this in creative, then it wouldn't mean anything because it's just creative. Who cares? Right, but it's in survival. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do, precursors, to get to this point. And then to understand what you do with the things you get. That's the other part of it. It's one thing to grab a bunch of material. It's another thing to be able to use that material in a creative fashion. I mean, I guess that's capitalism, right? Creative destruction. You destroy something so that you can create something else. And in this case, it's pretty efficient. It's better than efficient. For everything I destroy, I create more stuff, even more stuff. And you see how much slower it is to walk by foot than it is to ride a horse? So let's talk about American history. Right now we're going through a historic time. I don't think there's ever been a time in American history where the whole country was shut down due to a virus pandemic. This has never happened before. We've never done this before. And it's laying bare a lot of the issues that our country was facing. Like for the longest time, we could ignore things. Because we're like, yo, it's, oh, I gotta fill in the sides there. Oh, I just gotta put in glass, that's all. But for the longest time, look at these guys. Keep searching, pillagers. Keep swimming. You'll find a village eventually. Dumbasses. Sit here and laugh at you guys. So there's been a lot of issues in our country that under the good times we can ignore them because times were quote good, but now we're in the bad times. We don't have excess energy. We don't have excess energy to be spending on illusions. We can't be nice anymore. We don't have the energy to be nice anymore. Let's just tell it the way it is. And the way there's two of them. There's two groups. Oh! Ooh, I like that. Look at the ice. Nice. If I need to get more ice, I can get it over here. Haha, loser. Another group. Look at all these groups. It's like they go in the ocean on purpose. Look, 1, 2, yeah, they all head out to the ocean. That's funny. And there's another group. So 1 group, 2 groups. 3 groups. 4 groups of bandits, just of pillagers, just going into the ocean without boats. If you want to be pirates, dude, you guys need boats. Come on. The swimming thing is not going to cut it for you guys. I mean, I laugh at you. Okay, so we don't have energy to waste on BS anymore. We have to address the things as they are, the way things are going. So, and the way things are going is a result of our history. And our history is American history. Now, I don't know all that much about American history. I mean, I took your basic classes like everyone else. However, there are people whose entire jobs are all about history. Those people are called historians, and they work in universities in order to learn more about history and to spread its knowledge. One of these great academics, her name is Heather Richardson. She is a historian. I don't know what her specialty is, but she gave a talk the other day on the American West. And she does these talks for free on Facebook. All you have to do is like look her up on Facebook, and she'll give you a free and she'll like give lessons. She'll talk about American history. And I listened to her the other day as she talked about the American West leading up to the Civil War. Because, so you know, in the United States, there's been two ideas of what the United States should be, what America stands for. One of these ideas was enshrined in the Constitution, in the Declaration of Independence, to say that all humans are created equal. And that this is a land that's based on your character, not on your religion, not on your sex preference, not on your color, but on your character. That's one idea of America. The other idea of America is based on racial hierarchy. This other idea of America says that this land is for white men. And if you're not a white man, then you are lesser than. And this country is not for you. You're supposed to serve those for whom this country belongs to, which would be the white people, the white men. These ideas of what the country stands for, they're totally incompatible. They don't mix. You cannot have white supremacists work with unionists, because their ideas are opposite. One idea says it's your character, and the other idea says it's your skin color and your religion. Because it's not just skin color, right? The white supremacy is the whole package. It's sexism, it's racism, it's religious intolerance, it's everything. It's all combined together because it supports it. It's a amalgamation that supports itself, right? You can't have white supremacy without the religion that says this is what God wants. So, and since God wants it, then of course you're going to be a white supremacist if that's what you believe. Yeah, remember how bare this was when I first got here? Another group going into the ocean. They're like, what are those called? Lemurs? Not lemurs. The ones that jump into the ocean, jump off a cliff. Lemmings. A lemming. They're like lemmings, but they go out into the ocean. Keep going, buddy. Here, I'll kill off your non-standard bearing friends. What do you do now, punk? Your friend didn't even care. Look at that. so all of the United States history, all of United States history is based on this fundamental disagreement of government between the white supremacists who want to make this land only for white people and the unionists who want to fulfill the promise of a land, who want to fulfill a promise of a land that's truly based upon law and not based upon anything else except for law. I'm trying to get to the snow. Where's the snow at? There it is, snow. All right. Everything has been like based on that. Now, I listened to this professor, Heather Richardson, on Facebook, and she was saying that in the beginning of the American settlement, the European American settlement, the Europeans came over from Europe and settled on the west coast, on the east coast, and England, Great Britain, the empire whose colony it was, made a deal with the natives, and they said, all right, natives, we'll keep our settlement on this side of the Appalachian Mountains, and you guys can have all the rest, right? We're not going to go over the Appalachian Mountains, right? Because that causes problems. We're staying over here on our side, on this coast on our side of the Appalachian Mountains. But that did not settle. That did not go well with the colonists, the settlers. The settlers were like, nah, we don't want to. We don't care what deal England made with the Native Americans. We don't care. It's our destiny and it's our right to expand as far as we possibly can. So yeah, dude, of course, settlers cross the Appalachians all the time and cause problems with the Native Americans all the time because the settlers never kept their word. Never, never, never. Settlers never kept the word. Settlers, they just kept coming. It didn't matter what kind of treaty you made. It didn't matter what kind of promises you made, what kind of deal you made. Eventually, settlers would break the deal every time. So yeah, like that caused a lot of headaches for England because they're trying to keep the peace between the settlers that they had to protect, supposedly, and the natives, who were like tons of them on the other side of the mountains. And the settlers did not want to stay contained in their on their side. All right, so we had the War of Independence, the United States, to create the United States, and then there was the War of 1812 between England and the United States, and then the thing that came out of that was the Louisiana Purchase. Congress had already written up plans to go explore the continent, knowing at that time the parts that they were going to explore did not belong to the United States. It belonged to the natives, the Native Americans. But Congress didn't care. They were going to go there anyways, and they did. But then the Louisiana Purchase happened, and a lot of the land that they were going to explore happened to become the United States. But that just shows you how little regard the Americans had for the natives. They just didn't keep any of their promises, didn't even care. Okay, so now you have this westward expansion. At the same time, you're having the problem of the two governments, right? One government is a union government, where ruled by law, and the other government is white supremacy. It's basically fascism, if they had a word for that back then. And the West was going to, no one knew what the West was going to be. Was it a slave? Were they slave states? Or were they free states? So, those part of the big push to go out West was, the resources, the desire to get away from the old world, the desire for a new frontier. but it was also ideological, because the white supremacists felt that if they could get their people out there first, then they could create laws that benefit white supremacy. So yeah, there was a big push, and essentially the white supremacists won. They got a bunch of their if they couldn't straight up legalize slavery in their state, what they would do is create laws that de facto institute white supremacy. It's just like, sure, no, you can't own slaves, but you can't vote unless you're a white man. You can't own property unless you're a white man. You can't conduct business unless you're a white man. You have no legitimacy unless you're a white man. So go ahead, sure, whatever, fine. Say we can't own slaves. We're gonna create a system that helps white people anyways. So yeah, that was awful. And another thing the Americans did, was they couldn't really control the native populations. The natives like were not having it. They were not having this encroachment of their lands by these settlers. So of course they would conduct raids, and if you were a settler, Indians would raid your stuff, take your stuff, maybe kill you, like because it's their land. You just showed up on it and squatted. So the government, the U.S. government, was like, well, we can't be having this. We can't let this happen. So they sent out the army, and the army rounded up a whole bunch of the Native Americans and forced them onto a concentration camp. And in this camp, you take a whole bunch of people used to living on a wide open range, hunting and gathering as they needed, and you take all these people and you shove them onto a tiny piece of land, force them to live really close together where they can't possibly hunt and gather enough, and then you say, oh, you can't leave now. Well, dude, that's a concentration camp. You die. You will die if you do that. So the government said, fine. What we'll do is we'll send you food and things that you need to live. We'll keep you alive. You have to stay here, but we'll keep you alive. We'll give you food and stuff and money. So yeah, every year Congress would write a law to appropriate money for the concentration camps, for the reservations. Congress would appropriate the money. Now, whether or not that money got there was another story, because there was corruption and stuff, and racism and whatnot. But Congress would appropriate it until Congress was involved in a civil war with the Confederacy. Then they had no money. So one year they just didn't give the Indians any money. They had no money. They had no money to give the natives on the reservations. So the natives were starving to death. They started starving to death because they had no food. Congress was in war with the Confederacy for its survival, and they didn't want to give any money to the Native Americans. So faced with starvation or death, the Native Americans on these reservations staged an uprising. And they rose up. They banded together, 100 of them, and they rose up and they attacked. They attacked the settlement, and they took back some goods so they could survive, and killed some people who resisted them. Well, that didn't go over too well with the United States government. So the United States government sent the army again to put down the rebellion, and they did. The army put down the rebellion. But once the Native American insurgents were captured, what do you do with them? Well, some of the Americans wanted to execute them. They said, you did sedition against the United States, you're done. We're gonna kill you now. You're dead. But then Lincoln was like, well, wait a minute, guys. We're currently in a war with a bunch of white people who are engaged in sedition against the United States. Are you telling me that you want to execute all these white people after we defeat them in the Civil War? Is that what you're telling me? That you want to execute these white people? Because whatever you do to these Native Americans, we have to do to the white people because they're the same thing. They're insurgents. They're the same thing. If we execute these Native Americans, we have to execute white people. So this is what Lincoln said. So the people were like, I don't know about executing white people. I don't know. So Lincoln's like, yeah, that's right. So instead, I'm going to commute the sentence. If you didn't kill anyone, like outside of battle, then yeah, your sentence is commuted. And that way, that would save the white people in the South from getting executed when they lost the war, and it would stop Indians from getting executed for trying not to die. Yeah, but the army didn't necessarily listen. The army went ahead and murdered a bunch of Native Americans anyways. So, so this is huge. I mean, like, not huge, but this is what happened, and I didn't know any of this because I'm, not a great historian. But it doesn't go, just because I don't know it, doesn't mean it's not important, that it's irrelevant, that it goes away. My ignorance does not excuse me from the consequences of history. Because of these events in history, the West is the way it is right now today. Because of these events. I mean, look, we had concentration camps back for the Indians. Who picked that up later on? Hitler. Hitler used those concentration camp in his idea. I don't have a bed over here. I gotta go back. So, just because you don't know history doesn't mean you're excused from it. It's still there. So annoying. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not there. A big change for the Native Americans was the introduction of the horse. With the horse, because horses aren't native to the United States, to North America. So they were brought by the Spanish. And horses, like I said, are amazing. They let you destroy space through time. So, and it changed the way the tribes, the Native American tribes were oriented. So back in the day, the tribes that relied on hunting and gathering on foot, man, they had a hard time of it. It's hard to chase down bison on foot. Like, it's hard to travel on foot. It takes a long time. But when you have a horse, all of a sudden things change drastically. Look how much faster you go. Look how much more powerful you become when you're able to dart in and out like this. And so yeah, the Native Americans were a serious threat to the United States because they were still using muskets. They didn't use rifles until after the Civil War. And muskets are real bad. They take forever to load, they're horrible accuracy, and you're going to get slaughtered against a force that can use projectile weapons super fast, like a bow and arrow, especially if they're mounted. Now you're dead. There's no way you can compete against that. Not until rifling could the Americans do anything. But yeah, it's about the horse. The horse changed everything. And see, I didn't know any of this stuff. It was because I listened to that podcast, that lecture by Dr. Heather Richardson. She is great. I encourage you to look her up on Facebook. Dr. Heather Cox Richardson. She gives lessons on history for free on Facebook. She just streams them. It's great. If you're just chilling here at home, it's a great thing to listen to while you're doing dishes or just playing Minecraft even. Okay. So we see how the Native Americans got like whittled down. We see how the battle of ideology was being waged between the Unionists and the white supremacists. There's an ocean on this other side. You see? There's an ocean here. There's an ocean here. It's unexplored. I haven't explored it yet. Because when I went this way, it looks like it's a solid, put this away. It looks like it's a solid continent. But it's totally not a solid continent. Let me show you. I can't show you. I don't have a boat. But, alright, anyways, this is river here, right? There's this river. Okay, there's this thing. This little bay has a river. If you follow the river, the river kind of goes nowhere. Goes around a bend over there. But then, yeah, the river goes. And I don't know where it goes to. Probably nowhere. Because that's not important. What's important is right here. Yeah, look at this. I built a channel under the mountain. An underground tunnel. You might even call it a chunnel. under the mountain. To connect the Southern Ocean with the Northern Ocean. I haven't explored this side yet. But I'm going to eventually. But yeah, there was an ocean right on the other side. I had no idea. So yeah, let's see what else is going on. Yeah, the Trail of Tears. The Navajo had their Trail of Tears. They called it the Long Walk of the Navajo. Basically, they relocated a bunch of Native Americans from where they lived to concentration camp where they died. Let's see. So, okay. Now I'm gonna leave history for a bit. I'm gonna talk about current events. So right now we have this coronavirus pandemic. We don't want people to go hang out with one another or be near one another. We need to keep people away from each other so that they don't die. We don't want people to die, right? That's the goal. It's not because we're assholes. It's not that we're jerks. It's that we don't want people to die. So pursuant to that, we want to find a solution to our voting issue. Now, voting in the United States has been pretty terrible because we have such a bad system. Our system is so archaic. Why is our system of voting so bad and archaic? Because we have a group of people, the white supremacists, who are fundamentally opposed to democracy. So remember, white supremacy says that society is based for white man. So if you give a vote to everybody, regardless of their sex or gender or color, then you go against the idea of white supremacy. So white supremacists hate democracy. They hate the fact that people vote. They hate the voting. They hate it. So they do everything they can to stop people from voting. Voting is opposite of white supremacy. Voting is an affirmation of everyone's equality, and white supremacists hate it. So they will do whatever they can to stop you from voting. Do they need voter ID? Sure, we'll throw in a voter ID requirement to stop you from voting. Back in 2010, the Republicans, the white supremacists, they took control of a number of state houses in the United States government. And when they take control of the state houses, they were able to redraw the boundaries of the maps so that they would choose their voters. This is called gerrymandering. It's a way of winning a majority of power in a government with a minority of votes. Both parties do it, but Republicans are the ones who have done it most recently and most So they try to make your vote not count by gerrymandering. They try to block your vote by doing voter ID. They do voter purges, registration purges, so that even if you registered, they can take your name off the registration, and then when you go to vote, they say, oh, sorry, you're not registered, you can't vote. And you won't even know. You won't even know. They just say you're not registered. So, in Florida, they passed a poll tax. They said if you owe the state any kind of money, you cannot vote. We won't let you vote until you pay the tax. And so these are all ideas of white supremacists, right? White supremacists don't want people to vote because voting symbolizes equality. And white supremacists do not value equality. No, white supremacists have a hierarchy. So we come to vote by mail. Vote by mail is fantastic. It's what we do here in Oregon. So we're trying to not spread COVID-19. We're trying not to get people killed. And we want to practice democracy. But white supremacists hate democracy. So one thing they did is that they said, okay, if you want democracy, we're going to make you practice it in the most dangerous way possible. They did this in Wisconsin. If you want to vote, we're forcing everyone to get real close together to vote. You have to do it. White supremacists insist that if you're going to vote, you have to get really close so you can spread the disease to everyone. All right. White supremacists were thinking, well, this is going to stop people from voting. And that's what white supremacists want. They don't want people voting. And it kind of worked in Wisconsin. But now we have this future problem. What about the big federal election in November? Nancy Pelosi passed a bill saying, hey, let's all vote by mail. Let's all do vote by mail. Oregon right now does vote by mail, and it's fantastic. We have the highest voter participation in the country. It's like the way to do it. If you're gonna vote by mail is the way to do it. You send out the ballots 3 weeks to a month ahead of time, and you give people plenty of time to fill out their ballots and mail it in. That way you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to stand next to other people. You don't have to spread the disease. You don't have to deal with poll taxes or voter intimidation. None of that. You just vote like you're supposed to. Just vote. Yay, vote. Well, you can tell already. You already know. The Republicans hate this idea. Republicans think, well, if everybody could vote, then that means Republicans will lose power. If Americans vote in an equal and fair election, Republicans lose. No, can't do it. Can't do it. So Republicans are like, oh my God, we're going to lose power if people get to vote. So we need to stop them from voting. But Republicans can't just come out and say, stop, don't vote, Americans, don't vote. They can't do that. They can't say that because then everyone will know that they're evil. They have to hide their evilness. So instead of saying don't vote, what they want to do instead is kill the post office. Kill the post office. Republicans hate the post office. Why? Because the post office is mandated by the Constitution, number one. So they hate it because it's mandated by the Constitution. Republicans hate the Constitution because the Constitution is a unionist. It promotes equality, and they're anti-equality. So they hate the post office. So Republicans are trying to find ways to get rid of the post office. They would prefer if everyone had to use a private business that costs a lot more money. Because to Republicans, it's social Darwinism. If you're rich, it means you're rich because you're the most fit. Therefore, if things cost more, that's okay because you're fit enough to handle it. But if you're poor, oh, you're not fit to live. You should suffer if you're poor. So to the white supremacists, they're like, yeah, who cares if Postal becomes expensive? It's not my problem. It's those poor people's problem. So how do they go about killing the post office? How would the Republicans kill the post office? Well, one way they do it is that they force the post office to spend lots and lots of money. So, okay, you know how companies and stuff, they all have, a lot of companies have a retirement system, a pension system. That, like, if you're an employee, you pay into the system and then you're matched by your employer. And then when you retire, you have there's this big pension fund they pay out of, and they pay you a pension until you die. Okay, so what the Republicans thought, one way to kill the post office is to find a way to force the post office to fund the pension way more than it has to be. Like a regular company has to fund their pension maybe 5-10 years in advance. But for the post office, Republicans passed a special law. The post office has to fund their retirement system 60 years into the future. 60 years in the future, it has to fund its retirement system. That's a huge amount of money that you're paying into. A huge amount of money that you're paying into for no good reason. Because you're not going to need it until another 60 years. Why are Republicans doing this? Are Republicans concerned for the pension system? No. Republicans are concerned that the post office exists. So if they can drive the post office into bankruptcy through forcing them to fund the pension for 60 years, then they'll do it. Because they want to get rid of the post office. If you have no post office, you can't vote by mail. And Republicans don't want to vote by mail. Because remember, Republicans have this idea of white supremacy, that this country is only for white people. And they can't come out, they can outright and say it, and a lot of them do, but a lot of the people use dog whistles. They won't actually say it, they insinuate it. They won't say, black people, they'll say welfare queens. They won't say black people N-word, they'll say thugs, inner city thugs. They have all these code words to talk about people, to hide what they are. Because the number one thing that fascists fear the most is truth. Truth destroys fascism. Truth destroys fascists. So they need to hide what they're doing any way they can. So you know what? Now listen. I used to live in Japan. For 3 years, and when I was in Japan, sure, dude, they had their commercial banks. I had a bank. I think it was with SoftBank in Japan. But the other thing that they have are post office banks. The post office is a bank. The post office is a bank. You can have a bank at the post office. A post office bank account. I kid you not. They have those in Japan. And they're great. It's great. Oh man, it was awesome when I was there. I don't have it anymore. But, so in Japan, they give you this book. It's like a paper book. It's like that big. Like it's a booklet. And you flip through it, and there's a bunch of it's like a chart. And there's a bunch of kanji and a bunch of stuff I can't read. But it tells you about like the time of your transaction, the type of your transaction, how much was in transaction, and the location of the transaction, or something like that. And it's a booklet. It's like a serious booklet. And then you go to the ATM machine, and the ATM machine, you don't have a little card that you put in the ATM machine. You take your freaking booklet. You take your booklet and you put the booklet into the machine. The machine will flip to the correct page, and then type in for you all the notes of your transaction, spit out the money, and then give you back your book and your money. And then in your book, it's written down what was done. So, and this is at the post office. They have post offices all over the country in Japan. All over the country. You could be the tiniest one train station town. You have one train station in your whole town, like, and there'll be a tiny post office there, and at that tiny post office there'll be a bank system, and with that bank system you can send money home. That's what I did when I was in Japan. I was real poor. I owed a lot of money back in the United States. I was real poor. It was awful. Like, I thank Japan for saving me from poverty because I was gonna be in trouble. But like every other month I had to take any money I could save up and send it back home to the United States to pay my bills that I had over here. And I could do it at the post office, at the local post office, which was a tiny little branch. So what Japan has done it provides banking system service, and it provides postal system to its rural communities through the post office, and it makes the post office profitable. In fact, the post office has one of the largest reserves in the country. Everybody in Japan has a postal banking account. Even if you have a private banking account, everybody has a postal banking account too. So you could always get money or conduct your business no matter what, because the post office can do it. Right? Japan's great. What a great idea, Japan. I think the United States should listen to Japan, follow Japan's advice, and do the same thing with our postal system. Not only will we save the post office, because we'll give them a new source of revenue, but we'll also provide a service for our rural communities, and we can do vote by mail, which will increase our democratic quotient by a great amount. We'll be more democratic, a more democratic nation, if everyone has a chance to vote by mail. It will increase our voter participation. So again, unless you're a Confederate, unless you're a fascist, you want voters to participate. All right, so how long have I been going? Does it tell me? Hour and a half. Yeah, guys, I think we could come back from this. Like, this looks real bad, right? This looks real bad. But remember, Jesus wasn't having a bad day. Jesus didn't have a cold. Jesus didn't sprain his ankle. Jesus straight up died. He was dead. He's gone. Dead. No, dead is dead. Dead, you're not here anymore. Dead, you're gone. And Jesus still came back. So, I'm not saying the United States is Jesus, but I'm not saying that we're not dead yet. We don't have to do what Jesus did, right? We're not dead. We don't have to come back from death. We just have to come back from a coup, which is like, it's not an easy thing to do, right? A coup is no big, no joke. But Donald Trump and the Republicans have staged a coup. They have illegitimately seized control of power in the United States, and they're dismantling our country. So we can take it back, and we can fulfill the promise of America to all our people, where it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what God you pray to, it doesn't matter who you love. What matters is the content of your character. We can come back and we can fulfill this promise to all our people and for ourselves. We can do it. We can do it. We don't have to come back from death. We just have to keep going. We just have to survive and be aware of what's going on. All right. There's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, but I mean, it's kind of hard talking to myself, so I encourage you to look up Heather Richardson, Professor Heather Richardson, to learn up on history. I encourage you to participate in voting. Stay home, stay safe, and I will catch you on the other side. Season 4, Episode 1. All right, America. Until next time, peace. PoGokeRo out. All right, stop.